I hear all that preparation, and I wasn't ready. Good morning, everybody. Here we are back at Pour Over Marketing, and I've been working hard this morning, so forgive me if I'm a little late to the game getting my camera set up. I'm prepared today, though. I brought extra coffee because I knew what was up. So no idea what we're going to have today. I've had a few people say they were going to show up, and then other people that have said that didn't show. So today it could be just us talking, which would not bother me at all, seeing as how we're getting pretty good bounce back, pretty good people watching stuff after the fact. If you do watch it when it's not live and you have comments or questions, write in the comments. I will answer things. Contact me. That's another way. Don't just be a passive viewer. If you have questions, if you have comments, share those. That's what really helps keep the show moving and interesting things happening here. Okay, we already have somebody watching. I would love to know who that is. Welcome to Pour Over. Let's see, what other banners do I have today? I've got lots of banners. I was up making those yesterday. Let's see. Oh, new episode of the New Media Lab podcast out now. That's pretty exciting. So here's the deal with that. I put up the audio from Pour Over Marketing on New Media Lab. Hey, Sarah, you're the one that's here so far. Awesome. Oh, we're going to talk integrated marketing today, which I know you were anxious about. I took this show and I took the audio from it and I put it out on New Media Lab. New Media Lab is a podcast that you can find on wherever you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Oh my God, I'm going to draw a blank on all of them because there's so many places. Basically, if there's a place that you get, Podbean is one. I even think it's on Pandora. If there's a place that you get podcasts and listen to them, New Media Lab with Rob Southgate is what it'll say. And it has my past episodes, which is interesting. New Media Lab is a show itself. Now, this show, Pour Over, is an offshoot of that. It's a new iteration of it. In fact, New Media Lab, this is a show under that umbrella. Okay. But the main show is one I've been dissatisfied with since I started it. I did do some interesting things with it. I had originally it was going to be, let's talk about new media marketing, making podcasts specifically, because when I started it, we were still kind of in the throes of working that stuff out. Then when I did my master's, I did my thesis, I interviewed, I always get the number wrong. I want to say 13, it might be 15 different podcasters about their experiences. And those interviews turned out pretty cool. I didn't really do my interviewer thing on those. So they weren't very conversational. They were more like, here are my 10 questions, and they would go through and answer all the questions. I put those on, I believe, as season 2. I also did a thing where I thought I could expand on this because people were asking questions. And I did a thing where I had a listener come every week. So we did our show. It came out on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, I would do a short episode where they got to ask me a question. I thought that was excellent. I really liked doing that. The problem was I wasn't in love with the show. There was a format issue. The format for this is what I wanted that to be. And now I figured out that with the relaunch of New Media Lab, taking these episodes, putting them on there, that's step one. Now, you watching it, you've already seen it. You've already heard it. You don't necessarily need that, right? But there are new episodes that are going on there. So I said the new episode of New Media Lab is out now. It's actually an episode, if you watch this regularly, you would have heard. But I want to say 5 new episodes that are going to start dropping that are exclusive to the podcast. Those episodes also then go to the YouTube channel, the New Media Lab YouTube channel, and they're going to go to the Southgate Media Group YouTube channel. Right now, they are audio only. I don't think I have video on any of it, but in the future, they are going to be video. Okay, Chelsea Burton Dunn heading to Crypticon. Hi, Chelsea. I'm so glad you're here. Have great luck at Crypticon. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to want to watch this later because we're going to talk about integrated marketing and what some of the differences are in the different styles of marketing. And in fact, anybody doing a con, going to things like that, this will be important or could be important to what you're doing. So you're going to want to watch this. And once again, I said this at the top. I'm going to say it again. Ask questions. If you watch it later, it does not mean you can't ask me questions and get answers. I can either do it live on here. If I get enough of that, I would love to do a second segment for the show where it's just answering questions from the episode, either as a podcast or as a live video. We could do it on we could do it as part of the Buy Me Coffee. We could do it as part of uh, the Patreon page for Southgate Media Group. I would want it to be free, though. I'd want you guys to be able to see it. So don't think for a second that I'm thinking of ways to charge you for that. If you're asking questions like that, you have real questions that you need answers to, and I'm happy to do that. Okay. What questions do we have before we jump into this thing? That's right. I'm gonna cut to it because I don't see questions. We are having integrated marketing palooza today. Here's why this thing happened. Here's why I decided to do this. Uh, this week I was talking to my boss at the college, and we finalized the classes that I'm teaching. Now, we had gone out and he had mentioned he wanted me to do professional selling, he wanted me to do digital marketing, and he had talked about integrated marketing. He's like, "You're the guy for integrated marketing. You'd be great at that." And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." And I put that to the side. Well, when we were talking this week, I said, "I just want to know exactly what I'm doing." He said, "Oh, I thought we finalized it. You're doing integrated marketing." Okay. So this week, I've spent some time in my various little areas where I wasn't doing the other 40 things I do, studying up on integrated marketing. Now, I understand the concept. I, in fact, use this all the time, but to be able to talk about it, to be able to teach it is something a little different. I did find a textbook I'm going to use, but I'm not done. I'm actually looking for, when I teach, I like to come at it with lots of resources. I don't make the students buy them, but I like to come at it with lots of resources. So that you know, as we go forward here, when I put together my list of integrated marketing books or books that I think would be beneficial to somebody doing an integrated marketing strategy or campaign, I'll share it with you guys. In fact, I will post it, and it's not going to be this week. It's going to be within the next month, but I'll post it on the New Media Lab Facebook page, and that way you can see the list, and I'll welcome you to add to it, give me ideas. But just know that this is something that I want to spend a little bit of time talking about, working on, because I've realized a lot of people don't have any clue what it is. Okay, so to start us off, I think, oh, did you guys see? I've got a little logo. Hard to read on here. That's okay. It's Integrated Marketing Palooza, it says. We're in the throes of it. Okay, so let's talk about different types of marketing. There are three main ones that people get confused. There's integrated marketing, there's multi-channel marketing, and there's omni-channel marketing. Okay, so omni-channel marketing, we've all experienced this. We've all experienced all three of these, but omni-channel marketing is something that maybe Chelsea, Sarah, you guys going to cons and doing events like that, you might want to try to develop some type of omni marketing campaign. What it is really customer focused. Okay. It takes different communication channels and allows you to integrate with your brand. So let's give you a great example. You go to, I'm trying to think of what I've had recently. Oh, Molly's been in these. She goes to Dunkin' Donuts, and when you go in there, it's got a sign up with a QR code. Hey, sign up for our app, get a free coffee or a free whatever. Uh, in fact, they were doing a thing where she was getting a free small coffee like every day. Okay. So she gets the app and now she can order through the app. Starbucks does it. Order through the app, get a discount or whatever. Walk in and your coffee's ready, right? This is omnichannel marketing. Okay. It is you seamlessly interacting with the brand and they're pushing you towards the one thing, right? So when I said it might work for you as a uh, seller, okay, an event seller, uh, you might be able to do something like that with your newsletter, you know, something where they can go to one thing and interact with you and interact with your brand. Okay. We're not going to get too deep in the woods on omnichannel, but it might be something that we could explore if we're talking about people that are going up to booths. Okay. Rachel is here. Hey, Rachel. She says omnichannel works. It almost exclusively use the Starbucks app. Yeah, that's omnichannel marketing. You are engaged in omnichannel marketing. Okay, second one, multi-channel marketing. Okay, now this is what on the show I actually talk about a lot, and I encourage you to do when I'm consulting with somebody. We usually because I think this is a better starting point than integrated marketing. Okay, it's kind of like you got to learn how to crawl before you can run, right? Uh, Omnichannel might be crawling, multi-channel might be walking, and integrated is running. So multi-channel, very common approach to marketing. Uh, Basic idea: you use multiple channels to market. I know you're like, duh, Rob. Uh, so here's what I mean. We have I make clocks. Okay. So I set up various social media platforms for my clock company. Uh, I set up a newsletter. I set up a web page. I'm really cool. I set up a clock themed podcast. Okay. Each of those is a different channel. So if you were to take your brand and you put it in the middle, take make a circle, put your brand in the middle. Your brand is Lorian Hollow. Boom. Then make spokes coming off of it. What are all the different channels that you put your messages out to? Okay. That is multi-channel marketing. When we talked about a couple weeks ago about making one piece of content or taking one piece of content and making it into 10, that is a really effective technique when you're doing multi-channel marketing. Okay, where can I send these different pieces of content and how do I use them? I want to make video. I want to make audio. I want to make images. I want to write an article, a blog post about it. Okay, multi-channel marketing. And this is what most people, as they start getting into a little bit higher level marketing than just here's my Facebook ad and that's all I do. Okay. When I say that, so a lot of times with podcasters, when I've dealt with podcasters, which I have for 11 years, uh, they do pretty much single channel, maybe a version of omnichannel. In fact, it really is. Go to this and listen to my show here. Done. Maybe they say go to my show notes. That's not really multi-channel. You're still in the same place. Okay. Then as they go on, we're now in year 3, year 4. The show is gaining steam. There's interest in it. I've written a book and now the book is gaining steam. They go to multi-channel. They start trying to have, I have a Twitch show and I talk about stuff related to my podcast. And I have my podcast itself. And then I have a Facebook group and I have a this and I have a that. Okay. All those things add up to multi-channel. And when I say crawl or walk, that is not small potatoes. Okay. That could be all you do with it, and it can be incredibly effective. When I say you're doing that before you do integrated, you got to get used to the platforms. You got to understand your audience. You got to be able to play with it in that context, right? Integrated marketing. Now we're getting more specific. Okay. It is a much more focused way of marketing. Basically, what you're doing is you try to seamlessly integrate ads, promotions, social media content. You try to seamlessly integrate all of them. Okay. Uh, think about ad campaigns. Now, when I'm saying this, I don't mean you have to sit here and come up with a slogan and an ad campaign. Okay. But those are easy to understand. The Geico Gecko is one. Okay. When the Geico Gecko first appeared, it was in 99, I believe. Might be off by a year. And it was just a gecko walks up to a microphone and he says, "Please, I'm a gecko. Stop confusing me with Geico." Not the same thing. Okay. And then it said, uh, what is it, 15 seconds or left or 15 minutes or less can save you 15%. I think that's their logo or their slogan. Let me see if I can find it here really fast as I'm quickly scrolling. Yeah, here it is. In fact, it says, "I'm a gecko, not to be confused with Geico, which could save you hundreds on car insurance. Stop calling me." Great ad. It is concise. It gets a clear message out. Okay. Then the message that the focused theme of it is not he's a gecko and I'm trying to put the name Geico into your head. It says the central theme. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. We've all heard this a million times. When we talk integrated marketing, they now take this gecko and they've built their whole strategy around this gecko. The theme, the story, the thing that you want to know, it's all centralized around that. Think about how many commercials. We've probably seen hundreds of gecko commercials. Everybody knows who the Geico Gecko is. Now, once again, I'm not saying you have to create a mascot. You don't have to come up with some clever thing. What I'm saying is you want to make it a seamless integration across the board. Okay, there's a better way to explain this than what I'm saying. We take do you guys know what the customer journey is or the customer funnel? It's basically when you interact with a brand, they put you into a funnel. Okay, you're watching this now. I haven't built a funnel for this. Okay, but you're watching this, and I push you to sign up for my email. Okay, and you go to my email, and it puts you into a funnel immediately. You get a thing that says, "Do you really want this email?" And you say yes. You're at the rim of the funnel. Oh, you've said yes. You've entered my funnel. Then you have different points in that funnel where you are trying to get people engaged. You're trying to get them interested. Okay. And then by the time we get down to the bottom, they're buying whatever it is you're trying to get them to buy. And the end of the funnel should be actually the thing that puts them back towards the top, which is the follow up. Okay. When you have integrated marketing, you are making all those points in the funnel integrated. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's another one. Chinto, Limo Emu. All I can remember is the emu and the guy with the glasses. But do you know what it's for? Do you know what Limo Emu is? Do you know what brand they're advertising? Because immediately I do. It immediately strikes something in my head, and that is a perfect example of integrated marketing. And I'm going to explain. So now we have a concept. We have a thing. Though we have Limo Emo and Doug, and they are these spokespeople, right? Think about the journey you go on, and I mean a literal journey. Okay, you see it on TV. You see Limo Emo and Doug. Okay, and it says Liberty Marketing. Dun, 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 Liberty. No, that's We Are Farmers. Whatever their theme song is. Liberty. Oh, Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Isn't that what Limo Emo is? Unless I'm confusing it with a different one. Doesn't matter. Maybe their marketing didn't work so great. No, I can really picture it. So anyway, you see it on TV, right? They've got Limo, Emo, and Doug, and it says the brand. Or is it National? Jeez. You know what I need more of? Liberty Mutual. It's Liberty. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, I need more of this. Then you've interacted with this. You've seen it at home. You've seen this Emu and Doug, and it has the yellow, right? Consistency. Then you're driving in your car and you pass a billboard. And that billboard is the yellow. It's got Doug and the emu. It says Liberty, and it has whatever kind of catchphrase, and it actually has whatever that central theme is. You can learn a lot from a dummy. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more. It's got whatever the message is that they are trying to get through to you. Okay, and we're going to cover that in a second too. Then you walk into a shop, or even better, you don't even go in. You're driving by a strip mall. You're going to Trader Joe's, and it's in a strip mall. And in one of the windows, you see something that has Limo, Emo, and Doug, like an insurance store. It's got that in it. And your brain starts connecting the dots. I know the yellow. I know these characters. I hear that message, right? Same thing with the jingle. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. There is a jingle that is sticking in your head. It's creating integrated marketing. The days of the real jingle are kind of dead, but it used to be that everything had a really, they would work to get a snappy jingle that would stick in your head like glue. If you had a snappy, gluey, sticky jingle, and then you had a visual that stuck with you that was always yellow with the emu and the Doug, and then a phrase that stuck with you. Okay. Now you can put that on a billboard. You can put that in a shop on a sign. You can put it in a magazine, in an ad. You put it on TV. You put it on your social media. You're flipping through Instagram and you'll see it on there, right? That's integrated marketing, taking a consistent message, a consistent look, feel, everything across the board. Now, where we run into trouble with this, with say, let's say you're a podcast and you're putting out a new show every week. A lot of podcasters think, yeah, but I'm changing up the show every week. Am I going to do that across everything for each show? No. You're taking your brand, what you are, that's what's consistent. And then adding elements like this week's show is this. It tells the audience what they're going to get. They're interacting with your thing a lot. You're also driving them to things. You're driving them to sign up for your newsletter, which uses the same color scheme and which uses the same imagery and has the same tag on it somewhere. You're putting them at your website. Same stuff is there. You're building unified idea. Let's face it. When you, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but in order to get a message across, to like become famous, let's say, people have to hear your name, what is it, 1,000 times? I know I'm getting these numbers wrong. Okay. We're dealing with lack of coffee, lack of sleep, whatever. But you have to interact with something like 1,000 times, right? With a brand, it's something like you have to see it. What was it? It's something like 8 times. And then it starts to stick in your head that it's there. Okay. To have it actually take space, it's a lot more than that. It's like 1,000 times. And that's when we start talking about like Charmin with the Bears. Everybody knows these things. Coca-Cola with Santa. There's integrated marketing. Holy cow. And then they did the polar bears. They reinvented it and it worked. Everybody knows those polar bears playing with Coca-Cola getting diabetes. We all know, right? That was a joke. Don't come after me, Coke. Or as my friend Lilith says, don't at me. Anyway, integrated marketing, that is what it is. It is taking all your channels, figuring out a consistent message, color schemes, sounds, everything, and keeping it consistent. And don't do it for a week or a month. Try to really stay with it. When you do an Instagram post, now it doesn't mean everything you have. So if you're promoting your book, don't make it so that every post has the cover of your book, unless your thing is it's always in the corner and it always has some kind of tagline or something. Okay, that works. If it's always like the same ad, that doesn't work. It has to differentiate. We have to put the original ones have to be the main thing. And then as you go on, they keep integrating in. And let's go even further. I'm talking about multi-channel with it, but if you go even further, what are other ways you can interact with it? In fact, Sarah Cito today sent me something where she's taking her book and she sent me like a coloring activity book that she did on Canva that she's selling through Amazon. That is exactly integrated marketing. Taking your brand and saying, what are other channels I can do things with this brand to draw people into it? So in a book's case, how can I put them in the world of my book? Can I have a coffee that's flavored, that has a name on it that is specific to my world? Can I have an activity book? Can I have, like, if they eat a certain type of chip in it, can I have that type of chip sitting on my table? Okay, that's a shout out to Steve Altier, who's one of the Four Horsemen authors. He has a particular potato chip from his childhood that he talks about in one of his books. When Maeve, my wife, was talking to him about some marketing, she said, well, when you go to all these conventions, do you have it sitting on your table? And he said, no, I never thought of that. She's like, that's integrated marketing. You're building your brand and you're putting it consistent. Put that on your table. Put it in your marketing efforts. Mention it. Talk about it. Have the color scheme there. Color scheme is really important. Keep it consistent. Make it seamless so you feel like you are immersed in whatever the world is of what you're marketing. Now, let's go further. Getting started with integrated marketing. First thing you want to figure out, and I know you're sitting there thinking like, well, wait, how do I make this? Don't worry about it yet. You got to ask yourself a couple of questions. First of all, everybody should take a drink whenever I say this, although we'll be drunk on coffee every time. What's the value to your customer? What is your customer's need? What value are you offering them? Okay. What is most important to them that your product brand solves? The Geico customer is advertising that you could save 15% on insurance. Why? People feel like, my God, insurance is always sticking me. Oh, this is a good insurance company and they're 15% less. It only takes me 15 minutes. I'm taking the pain out of insurance shopping. You know, right up front, we're going to be able to save you this if you're going with Geico. Okay. What is most important to your customer? In that case, it is making it a painless experience and saving me money. Okay. The internet liked my statement there. Lots of balloons. Now, here's the other thing. And this bleeds into what I just said. The other thing you want to ask yourself, and write these things out, like sit there and write, what's most important to my customer, and make a whole list, right? Then what is my brand's ultimate mission? Okay. What ultimately are we trying to do? Am I trying to sell you this coffee mug? No. What is my mission? What am I trying to do? In there is where you know what is the value of my company and my brand to you, the customer, or to them, the customer. This isn't stuff that you usually just crack off. You have to think about it. You have to write it out, and it may change. You may go, wait a minute, that wasn't it. What are we trying to do? How does it benefit people? And where is that value? Value. Hey, take a drink. Okay, now we're done with the hard part. Kind of. Now you go make a list of all the channels. Where do I put my message out? And how do I use them? Okay. So if you want to make it easy and say podcast, social media, newsletter. Okay. But then what are the channels underneath that? Social media, am I in 10 different ones or am I in 2? Make it a minimum of 2, please. Do I have any holes there? Where else could I put something? Because my audience is there, right? And what is that tool used for? And write it out. Write out what the value is of the tool. I'm still not saying you have to make different content for every thing. That's a lot of work. But maybe you can make slight adjustments or add, like, I'll give you a great example. If you have Instagram and Facebook and you have the same things going in each, maybe every day you add something different to your Instagram story that's not in your Facebook. It makes it interesting to people. Oh, there's something different here. There's something different here. As they're scrolling through, yep, I saw that ad. Yeah, I saw that ad. Oh, wait, here's something different from them. But you're not having to create 5 pieces of content every day. You're only creating one, something different in your story or your reel. Okay. So what is most important to your customer? What is your brand's ultimate mission? What channels are you using? And also look for the holes there. And how does your audience interact with them? Very important. And then this is one that you really have to think about, because we're all going to say the first time we hear this that we're the best. But what is it that sets your brand apart from its competition? This goes back to another story. When we owned our children's store, okay, we had a baby store. And wait, what does this say? I got to leave, but I'm going to watch this back. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, you're missing out. When we had our baby store, we opened up in Lincoln Park. There was a children's store behind us. There was one right down the street, then another really big one like 2 blocks away. And we were a big one, but we were indie. It was just us, hired some family to work there. Very expensive. It was tricky. And when we opened, we had a lot of people coming in and say, why did you open a baby store here? There's so many baby stores. Easy answer. There's so many baby stores. People are here shopping for baby stuff. Why wouldn't you? That seems foolish. And then the ultimate question we would get is, yeah, but what if your competition moves in next door? What would happen if this now becomes an area where that is? When we moved it up to another area, we moved it up to Lake Forest. There were baby stores up there, and they were not, I'm going to tell you right now, they were not friendly. They did not understand this. So what we would always say is, great. If baby stores open up on either side of us, we encourage that, because that means we're the baby store district. Now people are coming here specifically for baby stuff. And for us, for our brand, for what we do, okay, which goes back to what I was just saying, what separates your brand? We knew exactly what it was about us. You could buy the same baby mobile at X, Y, and Z that we had, but we knew what our value to the customer actually was, right? It separated us. It differentiated us. So if 2 baby stores open on either side of us, as long as we're leaning into what's unique about us and what is our value in this mix, it doesn't matter. Because there are millions of people out there. There are millions of potential customers. If we're fighting over the same scraps, well, we've already lost the game. If we're working not necessarily together, but together, it benefits all of us, and it benefits the customer. So think about it. What is it that differentiates you? Kind of itch. Ooh. There we go. What is it that differentiates you, your brand, your product? You can save 15 minutes, or in 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more. That is different than their competition. That's what you want to look at. What is it about what I do that is different? Now, if you get stuck on that and you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm an artist, I'm an artist alley. There's 30 artists and we're all kind of doing the same thing. Yeah, mine look a little bit different than theirs. What is it that's unique about you? Why should they interact with you and your brand? What do you offer? It might be that, like, I met this guy. We bought this book from Ollie. He had this really great illustrated book. It was called like Pirate Queen or something. And the drawings were beautiful. Well, guess what? You go to Artist Alley, you could throw a rock and find beautiful art, right? But he had, and I'm not going to call it a gimmick, I'm going to call it a differentiator. Because he wasn't thinking of it in terms of a gimmick. He drew his stuff in with a fine point pen, very intricate. He didn't draw a pencil drawing and then go over it. And he would sit there and draw at the convention and draw these really intricate things. And then you look at the illustrations in his books, and they were just like that. And I said to him, wow, is that how you did these? And he said, yeah. He said, I didn't always use the first one I drew, but this is how the book happens. And we bought the book, and he drew one of these in the cover, and it was gorgeous. And you know what? It differentiated him. It made me buy it. It's a cool book. It had a consistent look. Everything had this look. Everything he was doing had this look. His live drawing looked like this, and he was offering something different. And there was a lot of value in it. Oh, and it was the Pirate Queen. He started talking to me about his daughter and how, like, she wanted to be a pirate. And, like, that's why I came up with this story. And, kids, a lot of times people make kiddie books that are too kiddie. And this one, I made it a little more adult because kids can handle it. This is what my daughter was interested in. And you know what? He was right. All that stuff added up to me buying his book. It's on our shelf right now. Bought it from Ollie. It was different. There were, I don't know how many other people doing almost the same thing down the line, but he was different. Now for integrated marketing, he was doing integrated marketing in that space. I don't know, because of when we bought it, I don't know how much social media was actually happening for him, how much other marketing was happening, but he was using his space right there to do integrated marketing. He was building a customer experience that was consistent. So when we do Writers Row, where we bring writers to conventions, and we have this booth, and it's got these TVs in the middle, and we have our own panel room. We have an artist signing area. If you go to those, it's consistent. Not only is our branding the same, but the people that are working these things are all cool. They're all having fun with you. They're not pushing sales on you. But you know what? A lot of people walk away with a stack of books because they trust us. They like what's going on. I would be doing a panel, and it was funny. This totally happened. I had people that, I'm in there doing a panel. In fact, I was doing a marketing one. And a woman partway through goes, wait a minute, you're that book place. Yeah, this is our panel room. She goes, oh my God, this looks like your booth. It didn't, but it did. It had the flavor of our booth. There was consistency there. She had only walked by our booth. She hadn't been in it yet, but she had seen it. She was like, oh, I want to remember to go back there. Now she's sitting in our booth with the experience. She's like, oh. So I said, pull out your phone. Here's our social media. Follow us right now. And she did. And when she did and she opened it, what was happening? Consistency. Oh, these are the people I see in the booth. This is what the booth looks like. These are their logos and their message. It was all there. Now, did we do a great job with integrated marketing? No, we're building it. We're building all of that. But these questions I ask you, they're questions that we sat around here, Maeve, Molly, me, Erica, we all sat together talking about this stuff, and these are things that would come up. What is our value? What do we do differently? There are other people doing these bookseller things. We know exactly what we do that is different. We know exactly what we do that makes us stand out and why people would want to buy from us and why there's value there. Plus, we give a lot of really good information and fun away. It works. Okay. I have gone on for like 40 minutes about this. Questions? Anybody got questions? Here's integrated marketing. So we did that movie that Molly and I are in. They hired me to do some ground level marketing where they wanted us to put some posters up and they wanted me to like help with local marketing. Uh, we did, but then I realized pretty quickly that the postering for profit's the name of the film, in theaters through the second. Go see it. Make fun of me. I look like a Sasquatch in it. It's called For Profit. Prophet. Molly's in it. She's very cute little 12-year-old. She's so adorable. And she has a really good scene. Like she gets to act. And I'm like, oh, Dad looks like a buffoon. You look like a professional actress, which she does. It's great. It's in theaters right now. Please go see it. If you go see it before the second, there's a better chance they might keep it for another week. Or it ups our ability to get video on demand and things like that that really matter when you're selling a film. Okay, so anyway, when we were having a big marketing meeting and they were talking about postering and all that, and I said, look, I don't know how effective that'll be unless you're in an urban setting. Suburban, it's not as effective because it's too spread out. And I said, but you want to have things that build your brand, that put that consistency in so that it's across the board. Well, they were doing a good job with that, but they needed something that people could hook onto. So in the movie, I mean, they have a good logo, For Profit. Okay. In the movie, there's an angel, and she comes up and she says, "God morning" to this guy. And she says it a few times in the movie. And I said, well, there's your hook. You've already got it built in. Make a mug that says "God morning." And I made it. I put the angel wings on it. They gave away about 200 of these. People were clamoring for them. I see people on social media taking pictures, holding up their God morning. I saw somebody on a TV news thing with it on their desk. There's a radio station in Elgin, WRMN. They have taken tons of pictures with their mugs. They love it. They love it, right? And what does it say to people? Consistency. We've got a color scheme. I stumbled into this in the movie. The brother makes a T-shirt for a podcast they're going to have, and it has almost this identical angel wing thing that it was clip art I got on Canva. It's almost identical to the T-shirt. So when people saw the mug, they're like, oh my God, it's the T-shirt. Consistency. This tells you the movie. It reminds you of the movie. It reminds you of the whole thing. That is integrated marketing. Okay. Or I should say an example of it. I am going to put on, as we're talking about this, we're talking about like knowing your audience. I have a thing I found on AdRoll. It's basically a how to find your target audience. You basically answer these questions and it's going to help narrow it down. Okay. I just realized I made one that was like, I want to say it was 50 questions or 100 questions that you do your best to answer. And it's going to start giving you a more clear view of your audience. That one was a loss leader that I had, and I have to see if I still have it. If I do, I will make it available to you guys. So all you have to do is, you sign up for the newsletter for New Media Lab or for Southgate Media Group, I think it was. I don't even think it was a New Media Lab one. And one of the options was you could get this find your target audience list. So I'll make sure I do that again, but I can also post this thing, how to find your target audience. I will post it on the New Media Lab Facebook page. So you can pull that and it's going to help you try to narrow down who your audience is. When I was in the final class, not my where I did my thesis, but my final class, the guy who was running it was one of the he had the company where if you go to the mall and they do the market survey stuff. He owned that, like, across the country. Successful guy, right? When you get down to it, what he's really doing is he's helping people understand their audience more than anything. Okay, he's refining demographic stuff. So I asked him, I said, look, we have this podcast network, and I've struggled with this because we've got so many shows, so many different things, and then we have our brand itself. How do I possibly figure this out? Somebody wants to be seen. This is our cat, Bernice. Uh-oh. There we go. She's been meowing. Look, she acts shy. Hi, Bernie. All right, get out of here. She was so distracting. I lost what I was saying. Completely lost it. If you can think of it, put it in my show notes here. Otherwise, I got to move ahead. It's gone to the ages. Poof. All right, so. Oh. Always pay the pet tax. Exactly. She came to collect. She's like that One Crazy Summer. She stands there and goes, $2. Like, come on, man. Okay, I'll lift you up. So, anyway, I hope this was beneficial. I hope this made sense to you guys. What questions do you... Oh, I was telling the story about Marshall in his class. So I asked him, I said, I've got this like wide thing. I said, how do I figure out my demographics? How do I figure out my audience? Because I thought the way marketers talk about it and act around it, that first thing you do is figure out your audience. And I figured there's got to be a formula. There's got to be some way to do that. And this is a guy who's an expert in it. This is what his business is based around. And he said, well, the first thing I would do is what I was just talking about, write down everything you know about them. And I said, well, but they're such a wide variety. You know, I said, let's start with ages. Well, they're anything from probably 16 to 60. Because I knew 16-year-olds that were fans of the show. I knew 60-year-olds that were fans of our shows. And I was like, and he goes, okay. But you got to try to narrow it down as much as you can. He goes, it doesn't mean you're throwing those away. It's that you look, where are the most? And if you can't determine that, who do you want to target? Okay. So as we did that, let's take a show like this. I know that who I want to target with this are creatives. I know that my general audience is probably 30 to 50. That's my guess. Maybe higher than that. Maybe 40 to 50. Doesn't mean if you're outside of those numbers that you're, like, oh God, it's not for you. No, it is. It totally is. Man, I wish that all my students watched this, right? But I think that the people that consistently watch are going to fall in that 30 to maybe 50 age range, right? Is it mostly men or women? Well, there are things you can find that out from. I can look at the demographics on YouTube. Has a great breakdown. It says, okay, well, 50% were women, 50% were men. Well, that doesn't really tell me much. Who's interacting with me on here? Look at that. Okay, well, I'm seeing more women writing in than men. Okay. Now I have to, once I figure all that out, that's when I can start breaking down what some of my goals are. Do I want to increase the amount of men? So how do I reach them? Or do I want to lean into the fact that I have mostly women, and how do I reach them? Or is that one of those stats that I don't really care about? Unless I'm placing a Facebook ad or a Google ad where you can select a demographic and say, you know what, I know I get a lot more traction with female viewers. So I'm going to say my audience is generally female, because when they're doing the ad algorithms, they'll say, oh, let's make a higher percentage female. Okay. And that's what he said. He said he doesn't know either. He didn't have an answer. He said it's all trial, error, guessing. But at some point, you will start to get an avatar of your customer. It doesn't mean that avatar is the only one that lives in there. It just means that generally that is your customer. Look at advertising. Look at McDonald's. What do you generally see? Who do you see in their commercials? Now, they do regional and localized advertising, so you can't necessarily go by race, right? Because that's one way that they differentiate. But who do you see? If you had to build an avatar for McDonald's ideal client right now, you were going to build something and you were going to try to get the most juice out of it, who would you go after? I'll tell you who I would go after. I would go after families with I would go with 2 or more kids. I would target it to younger families. My ads would be probably more geared toward female, like with them in mind, yet also showing males interacting, engaging with the family because women like to see the men involved and the men like to see themselves. If they're a dad, I'm a young dad and I'm looking at like, I want to be that dad. Oh, my kids are having fun at McDonald's. Oh, these are the things I want. For a while, McDonald's was advertising like be a dollar millionaire. Who was their target audience when they were doing all the dollar menu stuff? Who do you think they were really trying to go after there? Was it families? Yes. But what did their ads look like? Families were one of them. I could take my kids there and we could get a bunch of dollar menu things for the kids because the ads showed a lot of younger people in them. They would show families, but they would show a lot of younger people, or they'd show much older people that were on fixed incomes. Okay. But they also really, really, really targeted college kids. Right. We saw an ad last night, a new Taco Bell ad. And this woman, she's like a DJ, and she's saying, "Oh, when I'm on the road, I, live on Taco Bell." And it showed her like, wow, $1.99, $2.99. I get this cheesy this and I get that. And it shows her and people are having fun. And I was like, oh yeah, they are targeting that. That demographic is the young, college age, maybe 20s. They're even going further. Gig economy, because they're not just saying DJs, but they're saying people that are like, I'm trying to do my thing. I'm young. I'm doing my thing. I don't need to spend $40 on a meal. I don't have it. I don't need to spend it. And look at her. She's cool. I mean, look cool. She's having fun. It's cool. And she's like, going to Taco Bell is easy. I just drive through and it's only like $2. And look at this awesome, cheesy, meaty thing I got. It works. That's who they're targeting. Did it talk to me? Did I want to run out and get Taco Bell? No. But I bet 20-year-old me would have been like, hell yes. Rachel Tang, I really want a cheeseburger. Don't we all? Uh, no, not everybody. But yeah, we start talking about it. It's like, I haven't had a McDonald's cheeseburger in 17 years. Not my thing. No, actually, that's not true. We did try it once after that. I hated it. Once it got out of me, I was like, I don't like it. Uh, I like a Red Robin burger. I could go for that almost every day. I love it. Yummy. Uh, and look at their advertising. Who are they targeting? Who's Applebee's targeting? Who is look at even a company that doesn't advertise on TV or anything, like an Au Cheval with their burgers. Who are they targeting? Who is their avatar? They know it clearly. It's one thing to do when you're looking at your competitors, and this is really smart. Look at your competitors, whoever they are, and try to figure out who are they trying to grab. So if your competitor, let's say you're an artist, and next to you is another artist, and they have the same amount of people coming up, but you're like, man, I really like their art. They're not the one to look at. Okay. Take the artist, then there's an artist over here, and you might not even like what they're doing, but you have one or nobody at your table, and they have 30 people in line. Look at those people. Look at the message. Go look at their social media. Try to figure out, what are they doing differently? What are they saying differently? Who are they targeting? Now, they may not be smart enough or have enough knowledge around it to know who they're targeting. They might just be like, I cast this net and it worked. That happens. I've done that, right? But some of them, you'll look at it and you'll get the clue and you'll understand and be like, oh, right? We knew when we had our baby store, we knew that, yes, young parents, that's a great one. But we designed things at the front of our store that would make grandmas want to shop in our store. Doesn't mean old stuff. It means stuff that they'd go, God, I wish I'd done that for my kid. I'm the grandma. I can afford this now for them. I'm doing this. We knew our target was grandma. It worked. I mean, we were in business for 5 years. The last 2 were pretty stinky, but that's also because the economy shifted. There are a million reasons, right? We were the last of those baby stores standing when that happened, when we went out. But for the first 3 years, we did over $1 million the first year, a little over $2 million the second year. We were within a breath of $3 million in the third year. We knew what differentiated us. We were targeting grandmas, even though not all. Like, you'd walk through there, and like most of the customers in there, they would be young families. We knew that. But who did they hear it from? Oh, my mom said this is the greatest store. We had to come in here. Great. Let's show you our furniture. Let's show you our strollers and our clothing and whatever. Grandmas. But we knew it had to be grandmas who wanted the best. In fact, that was our logo. It said Cella for Baby, simply the best for baby. Simple. Come in here. Simple solutions. They are the best. We're going to shoot straight. It's what we did. I'm telling you, if the economy hadn't been so funky in the early 2000s, if we hadn't had things like 9/11 and the big dock strike, if we had been better business people, because I didn't have any degrees, we were talking about the marketing stuff. We were figuring it out. But man, if I did it today, it would be a very different story. But we had pretty enormous success because we understood our audience. We understood what differentiated us. Everything we bought was geared towards that. Everything we sold was geared towards that. Consistency, quality, simple solutions. You're having a baby, you're nervous about what to get, we solve it. And we help you with it, and you're going to understand it. If you're just there to get a price deal, we'll send you to Babies R Us. We're not going to rip you off, but we're not going to sell you the garbage. That was the difference, or one of the differences. Okay. Did this make sense today? We talked a lot of integrated marketing. There's a lot more to come with this. Anybody have any final questions? We're in the last few seconds of this show. Anything? Anything? No? Well, I think we had a successful integrated marketing palooza today. Don't forget to subscribe to Pour Over Marketing on Substack. It's at robsroundup.substack.com. I have a podcast one called Mic Drop, and then I have Pour Over Marketing on there. And I've been pretty consistent with those. Those are good. In fact, I'm going to start adding some things to it. We also have, for Southgate Media Group, we have a Buy Me Coffee, which starting this next week will have its own little short podcast that you only get when you buy us a coffee, which that supports us, $5. It's buying a coffee for me. It literally is. You are keeping my coffee habit going. So go to Buy Me a Coffee. Links will be on the page. In fact, if you go to the Facebook page now, there's like an ad thing I did on there. Let's see. Oh, this is it right there. Buymeacoffee.com/SMG pods. That's us. Let's see. What else? Next Saturday, Pour Over Marketing, 8 a.m. Bring those questions. Be prepared with coffee. I know I was. And why not subscribe to us on YouTube? There's a Southgate Media Group YouTube channel. There's also a new Media Lab YouTube channel. I'm having difficulty getting those integrated with this. I don't know why. There's something not working, but I'm planning to get it integrated so it's all nice and seamless. But for now, you can go to either one and I manually put these things up. Okay. I think that's it. No other questions or comments, guys. Thank you so much for coming to Pour Over Marketing. I will be back next Saturday. In the meantime, if you have questions, if you want to do a free consultation with me, or hire me even to consult or coach on your marketing, reach out to me. Reach out. You know where I am on Facebook. You know my email. Just go to southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. Reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you. And there's the final word. Cheers. Have a great day, everybody.